It's another Raw video from your boy Draft Raw Authentic. Yes, I am here. I am ready to go. And as you can tell by the title, this is going to be about y'all boy Josh Allen. Yes, Josh Allen. The most polarizing prospect in this year's NFL draft. Oh man, I got something for y'all. Once again, if y'all see my other videos, if I keep looking down, that means I'm just looking at my notes. I can't do a Raw video without my notes. Come on, y'all. Anyway, so I did some study on Josh Allen. I just want to say first, I watched him at the beginning of the season. First game of the season versus Iowa. I needed to see him. And the reason is because everybody was talking about him before the season started as possibly being the #1 quarterback in the draft. You know, I mean, obviously you had Sam Darnold and you had your Josh Rosens of the world at the time. But Josh Allen was a guy that, you know, you talk about 6'5", 240 pounds with a strong arm. You're like, oh yeah, I need to see this. He put up some solid numbers last year, but he needed to improve. Man, when I watched that Iowa game, I said, this dude don't have it. At that point, I said to myself, there's no way this guy is a first-round talent. And if he does get drafted in the first round, there's no way he'll be a top 5 pick. As of March 14th, 2018, this guy is projected to go in the top 5, either the 5th pick or even higher. And if he comes out of the top 5, they're saying he won't even go no later than the 6th pick. What the heck? From what I just saw, I said, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, this dude has no accuracy. What's the most important thing for a quarterback? Accuracy! Come on! Not arm strength. We see Jamarcus Russell already. The Kyle Bowlers of the world. Why in the world would arm strength be that important? And athleticism. Oh yeah, I mean, that's a plus being athletic. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning's not that athletic. And last I checked, they were 2 of them, best quarterbacks in the NFL, period. Besides Joe Montana, like, are we serious here? So I said, you know what? Let me look at the tape. Because after that first game, I decided not to really look at the tape as much. Because I kind of felt like I knew who he was. And I saw the stats. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, no. No, just absolutely no. So I said, you know what? Let me look at the tapes. First tape I saw, Utah State. First throw of the game, interception. What? Second play of the game, this dude get rocked. He uses athleticism. He runs out the pocket, going to the out of bounds, and he gets hit. I thought he was about to fly through the stands. That's how hard he got hit. And I'm sitting there and I said, you get hit like that in the NFL, or you try to pull that move in the NFL, you're going to be hurt, buddy. You can be 240 pounds all you want. Shoot, Ben Roethlisberger, 250, gets hurt almost every year. That's how tough the NFL is. Don't ever do that again. Anyway, I watched the game and I said, you know what? He's showing some pretty good athleticism. I can see why they like him, but a big problem I saw with that tape and other tapes I saw later, this guy was throwing with his arm. So I knew that was a problem. And I said, you know what? This is what GMs and scouts are looking at. Well, at least media scouts are looking at to say, hey, I think we can get this guy in here and coach him up. To be an accurate quarterback, you need to throw from your core and from your feet. That's where you need to throw from. Your arm is not going to be as accurate as your base. When you got a strong base, you can have good accuracy. But this guy's an arm thrower. He's an arm thrower. How are you going to get accuracy from that? And when he gets to the NFL, you can teach him all he wants. He will have to work really hard to get away from that. But I can say this. When you're in trouble and you panic a little bit, you start reverting back to your old ways. To say that this guy, who's a 4-year college player, that he should be all right, that he should be fine. I don't know. They stay comparing this dude to Carson Wentz because the head coach of Wyoming used to coach Carson in college. Then I start looking, I see why they're saying, oh, well, maybe we can make him better. And the reason is because Carson Wentz had a long delivery coming out of college and needed to work on his footwork as well. Now, once he got with Doug Peterson, he was able to get it better. And actually, during the offseason, he worked his butt off. And we saw the results this past season. The guy was the best quarterback in the NFL. And if it wasn't for him getting hurt, he would have been MVP. Even when he got hurt, he still had more touchdowns passing and combined than any player in the league. That's something to say. And they gave the award to Tom Brady. Tom Brady still deserved it, but I'm just saying, Carson Wentz still had a better year than Tom Brady, and he didn't even play the last 2 games. 2.5 games, if you want to call it, say, or 3.5, whatever. Anyway, so they look at that and they say, well, if Josh Allen can work hard, and if we get him in our system, we can make him better. Let me tell you a disclaimer about quarterbacks. Any quarterback that throws less than 60% in college usually will not be good in the NFL. So, with knowing that, I said, let me do my research of quarterbacks that thrown in the 50% range, career-wise. Let me see where those guys are at now. Let me see, because sometimes you can throw 50, in the 50% career-wise, but your last year there, you had over 60%. It can happen. Oh, yeah, it can happen. But I said, you know what? Let me at least study. So I went to Reddit, right? Reddit.com. And there's this guy named Jaguar Gator 9. I'm shouting you out if you ever see this video. And he did a study about quarterbacks and completion percentage. And the key number that he had was 58.5. He said that basically any quarterback coming out of college with at least a 58.5 and higher completion percentage should turn out to be pretty good in the league, whether as a starter or a high-priced backup. They should be pretty good in the league. He said he did the study from 2002 to 2014. That's 12 years of quarterbacks. 32 quarterbacks drafted during that time that had less than 58.5% completion percentage. In that, only one quarterback, David Garrard, that used to play for the Jacksonville Jaguars, was somewhat successful. And he was never truly a franchise quarterback. The Jaguars didn't even think he was a franchise quarterback like that. But I look at that and I'm like, wow. 2 guys on that list really stood out. One was Kyle Bowler because of a quote that Brian Billick said, which I'm going to get to a little bit later. And the other was Jake Locker, who when studying, when I look back and studying Jake Locker, he is the only quarterback that I would rate in terms of being a first rounder that I would actually rate lower than Josh Allen. There's no other quarterback I would rate lower than him. In the last 10 years. I want to put that out there. In the last 10 years. So, since 2008. So, like a guy like an E.J. Manuel, I actually would have him rated higher than Josh Allen. I would. So, looking at that number, right? 58.5%. Last year, there was one quarterback that was drafted in the first 2 rounds, I believe, that had less than 60%, and he had a 58.7. Guess who that was? DeShone Kizer. DeShone Kizer. I didn't like DeShone Kizer coming out. That just justified it. Why I didn't like him coming out. 58.7? 58.5 is a key number. You need to be higher than that. Yeah, I understand he's higher than that, but that key number is just a number that just says, you know, well, let's just not say less than 60%. Let's just put it in a more wider range. Like, if we do go in the 50s, how low can they be? So I did all that studying to make sure that I wasn't tripping. Now, I want to go back to that Brian Billick quote. He said that when they scouted Kyle Bowler in Baltimore, they blamed the rest of the offense and the coaching staff for Kyle Bowler's inaccuracy. Kyle Bowler was at a 53%. When he got to the NFL, career-wise, he went to 56. Now, yes, I guess it's 3% higher. So, I mean, honestly, it was probably better talent in the NFL, but you cannot change that. You cannot change that. The guy threw for 53%. You cannot blame it on other players. You got to blame it on that player. He was inaccurate, and it showed in the NFL. Yeah, he had better talent, so his percentage went up about 3, but that still makes him inaccurate. So anyway, I look at Josh Allen's career stats. 56.2%. If he goes up 3, it's 59. And that's if. That's an if. But 56.2. You know what I hate about this 56.2? Was that in his very first year at Wyoming, he was at 66.7, right? Didn't play a lot of games, though. I think he only played like 1 game. 66.7. The next 2 years, he was 56% and 56.3. That, as a career for playing all games during the season, is who he is. That is who he is. With a 66.7 percentage on your resume, you still had 56% career-wise. That's bad. Now, they may have not counted that 66%, but it's something to look at. That he didn't even start all the games his first year, but the next 2 years he did. So I looked at 2016. I can see why scouts and they was really raving about him. 56%, over 3,200 yards, 8.6 completion per completion was pretty good. 28 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. I can see why they say, oh yeah, we can see how him getting better. The next year, the guy basically almost threw half the yardage with over 1,800 yards. Still at 56% with 56.3, 6.7, which is really, really bad, especially in college. 16 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. How do you throw 16 touchdowns and you're supposed to be a number 1 rated quarterback? 6 interceptions seem pretty good. But come on. So I looked at his best games this year and his worst games this year. Oregon, worst game, one of the worst games of the year. 4 of them. At Oregon, 37.5%, 1 interception, no touchdowns. Hawaii, 47.4%, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. Boise State, 44.4 completion percentage, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Colorado State, 50%, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He had 4 games this year where he threw for 50% and less. You cannot justify this. Do not insult our intelligence. The media is insulting your intelligence. His best games of the year were against kind of scrub teams in the way of they're not even close to being Power 5 teams. Gardner-Webb, 68.8%, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. How you throw 2 interceptions versus a team like Gardner-Webb? My wife went to Gardner-Webb, and she said that team sucks. 69.2% versus Utah State, a game that I just named earlier. 1 touchdown, 1 interception. It was one of his better games because he had 69.2. 57.9, Central Michigan, 3 touchdowns, 0 interception. 58.3 versus Texas State, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. I'm looking at these games and I'm like, you're not even playing against great competition. Texas State, Central Michigan literally got 1 defensive player that's pretty good. Texas State, I don't even know. And you're still at 58.3. Come on. Are we serious about this guy? Please. Do not give me that bull crap. The media is trying to insult your intelligence. This guy is not good. He is overrated. Very overrated. I put so much hard work into this. And I'm passionate about scouting these players. And when I see this bull crap, I get pissed off because you're trying to insult our intelligence. Josh Allen will not be a good player. This is for jersey sales. If I tell you there's a 6'5" quarterback that weighed 240 pounds that had the same coach as Carson Wentz in college with an arm strength, you're going to sit there, you're going to be like, okay, yeah. And your team draft him, what happens? All of their fans for that team that drafts him, they're going to buy his jersey. But if I can sell you on that, but I can't sell you on a 6 foot, 200-pound quarterback. Let's say he was from Central Michigan. There ain't no quarterbacks coming out like that. But you're going to sit there like, what? Really? No. That's not going to sell jerseys unless he has a bunch of highlight plays. What's going to sell jerseys is the big, strong-arm quarterback. And they try to convince you that they can fix his accuracy at 56%. If he had 58, 59%, maybe you can tweak it. But 56%, no. One quarterback that I definitely know I think had 59%, Matthew Stafford, has been pretty good. Brett Favre, I believe, was at like 58, 59, and he's been pretty good. So it can happen, but 56%, no. I just can't. So anyway, if you like this video and you would like to see more, please subscribe. If you don't like what I said about Josh Allen, comment so we can debate. Share this video so other people can join this debate. And please hit that like button. Next video's coming out is going to be for the quarterbacks in general. And I'm going to also do the tight ends. This will happen this Saturday. I'm going to try to put both out. If I don't, the next one should be coming the next day or whatever. But the quarterbacks one is coming out and the tight end one is coming out. And I'm not splitting it into 3 parts like I did with my running back video and what I should have did with my receiver video. The reason I'm not going to split it into 3 parts because there's not a lot of prospects that I like or I think that's overrated that is, at the quarterback or tight end position. So I'm going to just name the players and then kind of give you a synopsis. Not too detailed, but a synopsis of what I think about them and if they're overrated, underrated, or if they should succeed in the NFL. But anyway, people, thank you for thank you. Thank you for looking at this video. And I hope y'all enjoy this journey that I'm taking you on, because I'm going to enjoy it too. Goodbye.